welcome Master Lama Rasaji, and this is our Tuesday edition of Rasaji Speaks. Just want to give a shout out to Master David's class. It's not too late to register for his evening live Tai Chi class that begins at 7 o'clock Mountain Time and 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. All right, today's lesson is ego check, navigating interconflict. Ego check, navigating. Well, we have a system that's amazing, probably the most amazing system to identify when the ego wants to show its head and when it wants to take over. That's exactly right. Because if you're doing your column exercise on a regular basis, at least every yin cycle, which means 3 or 4 times a year, if you've been with us for 3 years, think of how many column exercises you've done. Hit us up in the comment. Let people know how many column exercises you think you're on. Give them a good idea. Mirror meditation, taking it all to the mirror, recording your dreams that you remember by having a book by the nightstand, having a book when you're practicing your Tai Chi Gong inside or outside. When you bring all of that stuff before, you can kind of start getting a handle on this crazy little ego. This ego is like this runny rebel teenager that lives within all of us, that sometimes just wants to go nutso. And the last thing it sometimes wants to do is, kind of buckle down to the higher cause or the higher good inside. But here are some characteristics of ego. Hidden agenda. When your actions are driven by hidden agenda, when you're listening to someone and before they even have a chance to talk, you got to get your point in, because it's important, when you're playing ping pong, how when the ball goes up, or it's in tennis or volleyball and it's way above the net and you just want to spike it. That's ego. Ego loves to spike. It loves to spike. Ego is always more important to be right than to be purposeful. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's more important to be right. Ego's always looking and concerned about the death urge. It knows at the root of the death that the ego is kind of short-lived, because the more you take on characteristics of your higher self, your Christ-like self, the ego knows it kind of doesn't stand a chance. And with that, you will see the whole dark side's movement on the outside. You can see that going on. The more they know they're losing, the more the shenanigans do what? They go up, up, and up. Got my buddy the dragon behind me. We're kind of coming to the end cycle. Last 4 months of the dragon, the first 8 months was powerful, especially the middle 4 months. I told you, when you get in that middle 4 months, you're really the characteristic. We've been soaring in 24, especially with a lot of good progressive ideas of what Tai Chi Gong and the circle of Chi will bring to the world. It's really kind of important for you to understand that. When you're serving the greater good, that collective mission that we talk about here at COC, or that divine mission that you column exercise, meditation, prayer, it's been given to you to reveal to you. there's a really eternity wrapped up in that mission. It's not the urgency that ego feels. Got to get my 2 cents worth in. Don't feel like that. You start to get calm. You get a sense of grounding that goes beyond normal grounding. You have a sense of centering that goes way beyond just being centered. You're not only moving into the eye of the storm, you are the eye of the storm. That's a difference when you know you're on track with your inner higher being, right? It's exciting to know that. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting subject matter. Don't forget to tune in for what Chin calls Hump Day. And understand, there's no ego too big that your higher self cannot transform that ego, right? When it's time, do what Paul said. If we should fall short, which is, by the way, the definition of sin in the Lamasery, if we should fall short, and at any time, all of us have, let us move on into penance or repentance. In other words, do your sin honest. Take it to the other degree. If you feel the ego needs to be cleansed, go take your Tai Chi Gong to nature, right? Go do something selfless. We always tell our students on the weekend, find a way to get off the clock with your Tai Chi Gong practice. And when you're done, ask the Holy Spirit, what is the best way you can be of service today and be a blessing to someone who can't quite be that blessing to themselves, right? Baraka Bashad. May the blessings be to you and to your glorious family. See you tomorrow. God bless you all.